everybody, welcome back to another episode of Triple P&J. Today is just a P&P, so you already know what it is. Y'all haven't done so already, don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell at the top, so whenever we get some new content dropping, you guys are getting that hot new drop feed and videos. Don't forget to follow us on all of our audio streaming platforms, iHeartRadio. The list goes on forever. Curtis might be able to expand on that.
I was trying not to interrupt your intro, so I was sitting here with my hands folded, being quiet.
Yeah, I know. I'm a rusty bitch.
I didn't. You did good this time.
I did?
Yeah.
Dang, I did good.
He did.
I feel like I did in a minute.
He did good.
Right, give me a round of applause. Thanks.
We've only been doing this for a year.
Yeah, just a year.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So, anywho, how's your week been, even though it just started? How was your week since the fans last saw you?
The week's been weakened. It's been a long, mundane week.
What's happened?
Nothing. Nothing has happened.
It's just been a boring ass week.
Right. So we're just happy to be here with you guys talking about the latest and greatest. But how was your week?
My week was awesome. Weekdays, months, years, they're always good.
They just seen you last week. So how was it between then and now?
I feel like my weeks are always good. So
tell me about it. Oh, we had a fun time. One of our friends is getting ready to leave. Not going to say exactly who, but and then somebody else had a birthday, so we turned up. Went to one of our local clubs and did some...
turned it up like we always do.
So,
because it always be seeming like we be the only ones in that bitch, even though there would be other extras in there.
Other parties of individuals, but yeah, I feel like we're the traveling energy.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, and we actually had some other people with us this time that don't normally come, and they were fun. It's good to have new people around sometimes. And then you weren't in attendance the next night, but we turned up again. Not really a turn up, but it was just more like a kickback type thing. Yeah, like a kickback.
Yeah, I've seen some extracurricular activities on that, but I didn't really.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, as you can tell by the title of this episode and the thumbnail if you're on YouTube, this week we are talking about the fight that happened between Joseline Hernandez and Amber Rose. If you don't know who Joseline Hernandez and Amber Rose is, I don't really know who Amber Rose is either. I think she's a model and she used to date, what's his name? Kanye West. Joseline Hernandez is a reality TV bitch from Love and Hip Hop and her show and all of that, blah, blah, blah. Well, anyway.
Yeah, so if y'all have BET Plus and the show's called...
College Hill Celebrity Edition.
Celebrity, yeah. Then
so,
you'll know what it is.
For the people who watched BET back in the day before it was a streaming app, there was another show called College Hill where a group of strangers went in a house together and they actually went to college and it was filmed on camera, yada, yada, yada. But now they have a Celebrity Edition of it, and this season 2, they have a bunch of different people in the house, like Ray J, New York from Love and Hip Hop, or not Love and Hip Hop, Flavor of Love, and Amber Rose, Jocelyn, and a bunch of other people. So, on this episode, the most recent one, they were in their American history class, or African American Studies class, and
they were going over the topic of them, I guess, or just appreciating the beauty in black culture and just black presence. I'm pretty sure that's kind of how it sums it up.
Yeah, and Jocelyn decided that she was going to make some inappropriate comments towards Amber Rose.
But I really want to say, like, it started because of what they were saying, like, what their mountains.
Yeah.
Like the mountains.
Like their racial mountains.
Racial mountains that they had to overcome, and then Jocelyn went on about how I forgot what she said.
She pretty much, when she says when she was a kid, she deemed herself as black.
Right.
So Amber started talking about her experience, and she's white and black, so she
felt like that, which I get. She felt like that she was not black in black situations and not white enough in white situations because of the fact that she's mixed. So
Right. So then it started this back and forth. I think what really happened watching the episode, Jocelyn didn't like the fact that she was being checked on some shit that she was being ignorant about. And then she started to pop off. So when she popped off, Amber got up and popped her. Which, if you watch reality TV, everybody wants Joseline Hernandez to be popped, and I am so happy Amber Rose finally did it. What I'm not happy about is BET Plus did not show the fight. In respect to the college, blah 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 blah. I get all of that, but
man, give them people some publicity and let that fight air.
Right, because they promoted this fight the whole season, like before the show came out. They were talking about it, all of this, just to not show it. And so I think it was like for the views, like clickbait.
Yeah. So they basically amped it all the way up until that point, and then they just show her go like this, and then they blacked out. And then they basically just gave us the little disclaimer about them saying, oh, for the respect of the college and the people that are the parties that were involved, they didn't want to show the fight.
But if you look on the thumbnail, the little picture that I have clipped on there, of Jocelyn, her and their little tussle. It looked like she was working Jocelyn ass, if you ask me. But, I mean...
She probably was. She probably pulled the shit out of her damn hair and smacked her ass around.
They argued a little... I feel like if I was in that situation, I probably would have popped off a lot sooner. The first time that Amber walked out of the room probably would have been me hitting her if I was in that situation.
But
I respect Amber for trying to be the adult.
She was, but I can feel like she was a little bit more reserved in the situation because, she did walk off and then she came back, and then I guess because
I feel like she wanted to take it there.
No, she didn't. Jocelyn just kept making these little slick ass smart remarks, and Amber walked away and decided, okay, well it's my time to come back, and then they talked about the whole Rachel Hill question, and then Jocelyn said her little piece, and then Amber said her little piece. And then here go Jocelyn running her mouth and interrupting her again.
Like, well, I don't give a fuck how you feel. Well, bitch, what you talking to me for?
Right. If you don't give a fuck how I feel, then shut the fuck up so I can at least say my piece and then we go on about our day.
Right.
She wanted to feel relevant. It's okay.
She wants to go on these shows and start all this shit. Blah, blah, blah. I get it. It's good TV. So getting your ass knocked upside the head was good TV too if we could have saw it. If we could have saw the shit. Yeah. But with that subject... I want to ask you, because you're biracial, what was your experience growing up, or maybe now in your adult life? Do you feel the same way Amber projected sometimes, or how do you feel when you're in certain situations?
Yeah, I do feel like I do get where she's coming from, because growing up, as a younger kid, I didn't really experience having to differentiate myself because I was just a kid.
Right.
But as you get older and you start becoming a little bit more, how do you say it? Aware of how things are. And I remember when I have to, how you go through a test at the end of the year and they make you fill out the whole little Scantron, and at the time they only have black and white, so it's
what do I pick?
What do I pick? And the school's systematic answer was that if you're the race of your father, and my father's black, so I would have to put black. But so when I went to where in Louisiana is more predominantly, or the schools here are very more predominantly white, I want to say. I mean, we still have a fair mix, don't get me wrong, but
it depends on which school you're at too.
Yeah, it's just when you get to the South, especially here, I'm not viewed as white whatsoever. Mm-hmm. I'm viewed as a black man.
Right.
So they look at me and they're like, "Oh yeah, you're a black guy," and I'm just like, "Okay, well, yeah." I'm mixed. Right. Anybody in a standard society or a little bit more up to par society would get that, but in certain areas, it's literally you're black or you're white.
I don't really agree. Not with you, or I'm not debating you, but I don't really agree with you have to be white or black. Because I feel you're both.
Right. Well, you're
mixed.
We're all mixed. If you really want to get fucking technical,
we all got some other stuff in us.
Right. So it'd be funny when, nothing against white people, when white people be like, "Oh, I'm Italian, I'm this, I'm that, I'm that." It's the same shit. It's just it's a different type of white, a different type of Caucasian. You want to be all these foreign European cultures and all this other stuff, but no, you literally are just this.
Right, because you're black and German.
Right.
But looking at you, somebody would say, "Oh, you're black and white."
Yeah, but you can't be different kinds of black. Apparently, you're just black.
Should I?
No, but you can. That's the thing. You can be different kinds of black.
You got me. You got the extra crispy black ones. You have the light skinned black ones. You have you have
outside of the shades of color, there's different origins of black people.
There is.
So they, whether you're boiling down to coming from different tribes, different civilizations, all this other stuff, you got like, and the whole thing about you know how like they be talking about, so you know how like they talk about like being Western or Eurocentric features like a button nose, but then they want to put that on like black people, or like how they say.
Pause. I was just playing about the different skin tones. It was a joke.
Yeah, don't be sensitive.
It was a joke. Don't come for me.
I'll
come back.
I just feel like I'm kind of a little steering off course with this, but I feel like there's people who have problems with like saying like, oh well, if you're black, you're only supposed to have like certain nose features, like your nose is wider. But like they say like people try to Eurocentric, or I forgot how to say it, but they try to make it seem like you're not black if you don't have these type of features or some shit. I don't know. But anyway.
I just really feel like that shit just comes off racist as hell.
It is. That's exactly what the fuck it is.
Because I'm pretty positive I don't have all the features of a typical black person.
Right. That's because no matter we have evolved so damn much that we're mixed with a lot of different things. But yeah, like, I mean, just growing up, me personally, I feel like the older I get, the more I realize, like, when I was in 8th grade, I went to a predominantly black school, but I was not viewed as black. I was not a black person.
Was it here?
No, this was in Georgia.
Oh, okay.
So it was, like, literally, like, there was, like, maybe 2 or 3 Pacific Islander people, or students. There was, like, maybe 1 or 2 white students, and then there was, like, me and my sister.
So they didn't view you as black there, or they viewed you as black?
Well, on paper, I was technically African American,
right.
And like I can put like multiple race, but just as like a social construct, like I wasn't to them.
You didn't fit in.
I didn't fit in with the black people.
Huh.
So that's just how it was. But then when I go to like, let's say if I went to a school with like a lot of white people, I was not black.
Right.
So I get where she's coming from. So it's like a little bit difficult because like if you're a black person, yeah, you can just be with black people and like that's where you're at. Mm-hmm. And I get like some people might not always feel that way because of how
sometimes no.
Yeah. I get it. Like you ever see those kids or they say like, oh, you act white when you black?
Yeah, so me growing up, my dad, I don't know if it was the military in him or because he didn't want me to be a statistic, he pretty much made me talk proper and enunciate and not slur some of my words like some people may do, not use slang and all that.
I'm not going to say ghetto, but you sound illiterate when you don't actually pronunciate and speak properly.
Right.
But I get it.
If you do that and don't have like a speech impediment or something.
Right.
But I... growing up, he would always make me correct myself as soon as I would try to talk a different way. Mm. And I feel like growing up, a lot of people would be like, well, you talk white. Or if I'm on the phone, you sound white. You sound white on the phone. And I'm like, okay, because I'm proper, but I'm definitely black. Right. So I feel like some of us black people don't fit in with black people either because their upbringing was different.
Right. And just because you're black doesn't mean you have to try to like fit in with like the stereotypical black person. Right. And I feel like that's a bad thing because now you're not only are you bringing your people down, but y'all are be like, oh, well, you're not trying to embrace your heritage and your culture and all this other stuff.
I don't know what it's like to be white, but I'm sure they get offended too when somebody say, "Oh, you're acting white,"
or white trash. When you sound like white trash.
That too.
Yeah, like I don't think sounding proper has anything to do with your skin. So people who literally like, if you ever tell your friends or if you tell people in your life that you sound white, you are the problem.
Just because you sound illiterate, I'll be
look
like
at the mirror.
again.
Look in the mirror and just say that to yourself. You sound white. Just say that. Even if you mean it to somebody else, say that to yourself in the mirror and see how you sound.
You sound white.
Is there a problem?
So anywho, no, we're not popping off.
That's literally how the video went.
we're not popping off today. But to kind of touch on the identifying yourself.
I guess this portion really kind of ties into it as far as
It does. It was a topic that you brought up earlier. It was, what was it?
So it's a big thing that's been going on with like social media right now, and the fact that like the whole elections are coming up. And I forgot the guy's name who was like running for president, but he talks a lot about how kids under the age of 18 are, with trying to transition into being I guess just being transgender, the opposite sex, and that I guess like their stance on it is saying that like this is like a whole like a trend, and that they're saying like it's too early for kids to have the decision to be able to transition from one gender to the next before the age of 18, and why it's valid and why some people are arguing against it. And I think it's just a lot. And then the fact that like kids are actually making these decisions before like they're even able to like live their life fully. I don't know. I don't want to. I guess if I put my stance on it, it might bug some people because of like how I am. Because I'm
open discussion. It's your opinion. Yeah. I'm gonna give mine.
Well, I'm open for a lot of things like gay marriage. Just I'm an ally. I support all of the. I support everything honestly. But I feel like as far as transitioning to be trans from a child standpoint shouldn't really be a thing because it's too early, in my personal opinion, for a child to actually want to go through a complete sex change. And that's like something that's like you spend time and a lot of money, and you're just putting your body through so much at a young age before you truly get to like I guess know yourself, really?
Yeah, so I kind of agree with you. I don't think that the child should make that decision. Of course, when you're a child, your parents have to sign all the paperwork and everything. But I feel like it shouldn't be a thing, like we were talking earlier. It shouldn't be a thing until they're at least 18.
Right, because I guess like I'm not going to say party name, like Republicans or Democrats or whatever, would kind of to say that like you can't smoke legally until you're 18. There's obviously people who are going to do it before the age of 18 or whatever the case may be, or 21.
Yeah, just like there's going to be people who transition before they're 18. But like we were saying earlier, it's a life-changing decision. Right. Not comparing it to like a tattoo or anything, but you're stuck with that forever unless you get it removed, right?
Right.
So when a minor gets a tattoo, their parent has to consent. So I guess some of the viewers and the people who's voting on whatever the situation is will feel like, okay, well, why not we do it like that?
Right. So me personally, I get it. Like, I mean, if the parents consent to it, it can be a good and a bad thing, because I feel like sometimes parents don't have the backbone to actually be a parent. Instead of, they always want to just make sure that their kids are happy and all this other stuff. Friend. And they're their kid's friend. And I get that. But at the end of the day, let's just say, like, let's put it in this perspective. It's like some guy was saying, well, what if the kid wants to commit suicide because he's unhappy, or he or she, or that the individual is unsatisfied, or the kid is unsatisfied with themselves because of like who they are at that, like they're like, oh well, I'm 5 to 7 years old, and I feel like I should have been born as the opposite sex.
I feel like that is too early. Now, I'm not going to say completely teenage years, because then that's where suicide and shit does kind of happen at. But I think if you're trying to make your kid, or not make your kid, let them transition if they are...
Let me say it like this. In my
young, like you just said, that shouldn't be a thing.
I don't even think parents should have the option to consent to that. Because, like I said, some parents just don't have the backbone. They're just like, okay, my kid can do it. It's fine. That's what they want to do. And it's like, what are you doing? Like, a lot of parents just, nowadays, even without this stuff, some parents are just unfit to be parents in the most basic situations. But I think that, yeah, I said it. I think that, you know, if you look at it like this, like, I wouldn't do half the stuff that I was doing at 12 years old. Because my mentality's completely changed. I wouldn't even do half the stuff I was doing when I was 21.
Your brain is not even fully developed until you're 25?
I think for women, they develop sooner than men. It's like 21, I think, and then men is like 25.
Okay, it's a couple years off.
Right,
so.
But either way, I feel like if you're not even fully developed and your frontal lobe or whatever is not fully developed and you haven't went through like a complete character change or whatever the heck.
You don't even fully know yourself yet.
Correct. And you already want to talk about turning your parts inside out or outside in.
Now, I understand. I don't understand it, but I could see someone saying they don't feel comfortable in their own skin. But I don't think that should be something that you change that early in life. I mean, you're still getting to know yourself. You're still getting to know what you like. Some people, they go through the curious phase. They go through the exploring phase. So for you to make that decision to change your gender at that early age, what if you're just going through the phase?
Right. And don't get me wrong. There's people that I've known secondhand that, you know, have grown up and they finally get to that point in their life where they actually make the change. And good for them. You know, but they were older when they did it, and they went through life, and like they knew, like, okay, this is me, and they're okay with that, and I'm cool with that too. But you know, but you didn't say that at like 7 years old, and just like, all right, now this is it, I gotta change right now. You know what I mean? Like,
I think that's coming with the new generation.
Yeah,
the parents are younger, first of all, and they might not be fully brain developed. But
most of them aren't. Like, they really, like, they don't... Most of the time, like, kids are having kids young. They don't even know themselves. By the time, like, they have a kid, they barely even know how to take care of themselves.
Y'all look like siblings.
Right. So, if you're 20... Like, sorry, I'm not trying to bash on people, but at the same time, I am. If you're, like, 21, you have a kid, and you still don't even know yourself, like, you haven't went out, you don't know what, like, you don't even know what you like to do in your own spare time. Like, some of y'all can't even take care of yourselves, barely bathe, you don't brush your teeth. I wasn't trying to laugh.
I mean, it's true, though.
It's real, and now y'all out here you're bearing children, whether you're a man or a female, whatever the case may be, y'all are bringing children into this world, and you can't provide for them. So... it's just a lot of crazy content around the whole fact that, like, oh, well, you can give the parent consent to give their children the ability to do this. Some parents don't need to make that decision for the kids. They can't make decisions for themselves.
Well, I kind of want to know your take on, let's say, if you were married and you had a kid that said that they want to transition at that young age, and your spouse was okay with it, but you weren't. How would you feel about that?
That's a very hard situation because, for one, I don't have kids. I feel like I feel like it's situational. Because some people say, like, with me just bringing back up the whole thing about kids saying, like, oh, that kid could say they're suicidal because they don't want to be the way they are no more. They want to transition. First of all, I'm gonna make sure that my kid gets some type of psychological help, because I think that there's things that need to be addressed in a way for that to even become a thing. Not saying that it's a negative,
You're talking
content.
about the suicidal part?
Well, no, me taking them to therapy. That can be negative.
Because if they're suicidal, then I think that they should go to therapy for that.
Yeah, some people just, when they hear therapy, they think it's just like a bad thing.
No, therapy helps.
Yeah, therapy does help. But as a parent, for one, this kind of spans more into the fact that, like, I would want to know my spouse before we actually even have kids. For one, our values have to align. Two, like, if we have a kid, and like, I'm sure we would have talked about stuff like this. Hey, if this happened, theoretically, hypothetically, what would you do?
Right.
I'm sure I wouldn't get to that point in my life where my spouse would go against it.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, people change over time, so I get that. But if it was boiled down to me, I just would have to be the parent that you hate me. You're just gonna have to hate me. You could love your mom all day and just be like, well, mom said I could do it. Well, no, sorry. I don't care, because I hold the final decision at the end of the day, and I don't think that that's something that you should do, and I don't care if you hate me for this. Like, at some point down the line, if you want to do that transition once you become of age,
right? And
like, that's what you legitimately want to do, because after that, you're grown. You can do whatever you want. I can't tell you what to do anymore, and the choices that you make in life is going to be completely on you. So, and that's how I grew up. I mean, my parents always supported me with things that, even if they didn't like it. Like, I got married at a young age.
Mm-hmm.
And at first they didn't support it, because they already had plans set for me, and they were probably better plans than what I picked. But at the end of the day, when I became of age, I made the decisions on my own, and they supported that.
Yeah. The part of where you said your parents' plans were probably better than your own.
Right.
I feel like that's situational too.
Right.
Because my dad, and I was going to do it, wanted me to go into the military. And
probably.
Yeah.
It's all
right.
Situational.
Right. Bitch, we need content. So I was gonna go into the military. I was gonna go into the military, and then I just decided that's not what I want to do. But my dad, for the longest, until I started doing good for myself, was just like, you should have went to the military. And it was kind of just like always a back and forth debate on what I should do with my life.
Yeah, mine was like you should have went to college and then graduated college, and then like that.
Well, I was in college, and he was still telling me, you need to go in the military. They pay for it. I know, but I get all that. It's not like I'm just sitting here not doing shit for myself. He was.
That's why, because I feel like dads that come from military, like, they respect and appreciate the structure, and they feel like that's what would give their kids the same type of structure. So but because that's how I am, I'll be honest with you. Like, to this day, my sister is out of college, and I still tell her she should join. So I get that, but
yeah, I get that, but I also feel like most parents, and I'm speaking from what I've seen because I'm not a parent either. Most parents want you to be better than they were. True. So that's why that's why I feel like they make plans for you, and then when you go against their plans, it's like either my way or no way at that point, until you prove that your decision is best.
Yeah, it's a valid decision. I don't think, me personally, I don't think mine was a good decision, but I mean, hey,
your personal. You don't think your own decisions was good?
Yeah, no, I don't. And I'm okay with saying that because I've grown and changed, and I've went through life, and I've learned from my past and my mistakes. And even though I could have chosen a different path in life, and the possibilities of it putting me in a better position I don't know. Who knows? I could have did that and end up in a shitty situation.
Yeah.
Right. So I feel like no matter what you do, I appreciate the fact that, like, once I got to that age, I was supported. So but that's how it should be technically if you were wanting to transition.
Yeah. Same. I once I reached like 20 and they saw, I wasn't really just out in the streets doing shit. I feel like that was the thing with specifically my dad, because I feel like my mom always had faith in me, but I feel like
the mom. See, that's
right.
what you said. What if the mom?
Right. That's why I said, what if she just goes along with it? Because
that's mom.
In most situations, some situations, they're the ones who's more lenient on the kid.
Right.
What was I going with this? I forgot. But to tie back into what we were talking about, I feel like you should be of age before you make that decision. Right.
Yeah, because it's a lot to consider. And for anybody, I guess my logic behind it is just, I'm not doing the same things that I was 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 15 years ago. Like, my train of thought is different. You wouldn't, at 5 years old, you're not doing the same things that you're doing or 10, you're not doing the same things you're doing at 5, 15.
Still not picking it.
Right, but it's just, it happens. I'll pick it sometimes.
You eat them?
No, I don't know.
Okay, but I'm just saying.
Do you?
No.
Get a little snack.
No.
Okay. Well, people do it still, so I'm not here to judge you if you do. It's whatever.
Anyway, like you're here to judge. Was there anything else you wanted to touch on today?
Don't judge people. Even though I've been judging all episode.
I don't feel like you've been judging. I feel like you've had an opinion about certain things. Yeah, and to be honest with the naysayers out there, we all have an opinion, and everybody's opinion is not going to align together. That's why we have our own opinion.
But you know what you can do with your opinion? Put it in the comments.
Put it in the comments. We'll reply.
Yeah, we'll talk about it, and we won't be mad or we won't argue about it because we're all grown folk, and we can talk about things without
y'all get too jazzy in the comments. I might just like it and move on. Might not even reply. I like it because you commented, but yeah. Right. And with that being said, that wraps up episode 62 of Triple P&J. Like I said last week or the week before, one of these days we'll get the whole gang back together. But I feel like y'all are enjoying the trio and then the duo and all that.
Yeah.
You never know who you're gonna get from week to week now.
Yep.
But I'll always be here. But
life hits us all in different ways, so it just we turn.
The episodes the weeks that we skip, it's normally because I can't do it and it's at my house. So I have my weeks where I can't come to. It's just not as obvious.
Ooh, sorry, I have a burp.
What'd that be?
That burp.
Oh. Did you burp?
Yeah, I did.
I didn't hear it. Anyway, make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe. Share the video to all your social media on the audio platforms. Make sure y'all go and download the episode. Follow us on there. Leave a review. We like 5 stars around here. And tell all your friends about us. And we will see you guys next week.
Yep. Y'all take care. Peace.